Hi friends, come join us for yoga. Hopefully we'll keep our connection, and if we lose it, I'll be sure to tap back in. So you can see I have my mat, a blanket, a couple of blocks, a shawl to keep me warm. Hi Domenica, welcome. Grab what you need so you're comfortable. Improvise with anything that you have at home. Books if you don't have blocks, blankets, pillows, they all work. And we'll come to sit in the middle of all that is. And thank goodness with our practice we can do that. We can have this practice with us wherever we go, even if it's taking a few moments to breathe. Setting up, if you like your blocks under your legs, a blanket under your seat, letting your hands press down, rooting and grounding all of that energy that may feel very disconnected in this moment. Finding soft gaze over top of nose or closing eyes. Finding slow, steady breath. Bringing one hand to heart center, bringing one hand to lower abdominal area, filling with the inhale, emptying with the exhale. Two more like that, filling, emptying. One more. And bringing your low hand to the rib cage, making space for the inhale, releasing the exhale. Two more like that, making space, releasing. And again. And then your side hand moves to heart center hand moves to the side, and we'll receive that beautiful inhale and release. Receiving, releasing. One more like that. And finally, we'll take the side hand and move to the low belly. And all of those places you've touched will make more space than you think you can. And release more breath than you think is possible. Twice more. And then taking your heart center hand and moving it over to your true heart space, a little to the left. And your other hand creates the mudra we're told the Buddha gave to folks who were listening and learning and seeking fearlessness. So your palm is open, your fingers are spread a bit. And we sit with that. Inviting shoulders above the hips. Noticing any leaning, inviting long, quiet spine. And then undoing your hands, continuing to breathe. We'll bring the legs long, and you can stay up on your blanket or come down to the floor. You might like to have your blocks next to you, and of course you'll remember blocks have 1, 2, 3 different levels, so you have all of that to experiment with. And let me scooch over a bit. Remember, your feet have the option of flexing, which might be kind to the backs of the knees, or you can reach through the toes. And on an inhale, lengthen, palms to sky, welcome friends. And on an exhale, move to the first side. So I'm going to use my block today, but you might use your leg, and eventually your hand might reach for the inner edge of your foot. So see what makes sense. The inhale opens your heart, you're twisting a bit from the midsection, and your back is working to keep you there. Both sits bones are down. The one we turn away from tends to lift a bit. Notice the attention given to the space between the rib cage and your hip and how strong that feels. Your arm may reach to the side, it may reach to the ceiling, palm near the ear, keep breathing. Maybe gazing to the floor in front of you, to the wall across from you, or up over that elbow. I'm assuming you're inside, you might be outside. Sometimes I have a friend who practices outside and she'd be gazing to the tree across from her. The top hand is just next to your ear, so you're opening up rather than forcing anything. Strengthening as you breathe. And then the top hand reaches overhead, the bottom hand lifts, fingers interlace, palms press. You lift and lengthen, and we'll take it to the other side. So again, I'm going to set up with my block. You might use your leg or even find inner edge of foot as you wish. You're moving a bit from the midsection. Your arm can reach out to the side, up to the ceiling, and finally hand makes its way near the ear. Slow, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale, both sits bones grounding. Inhale reaches your arm overhead. Exhale lifts your bottom hand, fingers interlace, palms to the sky, lifting, lengthening, and then exhale, turn to face that first leg. Inhale, lengthen a bit, and exhale, release. Let your fingertips claw for now, and your palms cup. That way, hands are active, arms are active, feet are active, legs are active. And then what's going on with the midsection? Maybe letting your upper body move toward your leg a bit more, in line with it, not necessarily folding from hips, but seeing about that. Does it make sense for you? Are you breathing? Are you releasing? Fingers interlace, palms press, you lift, lengthen, and we'll take it to face the other leg. Inhale, lengthens first, and exhale, releases. Fingertips claw, again, palms cup, slow, steady breath. Fingers interlace, palms press, lift, lengthen, return center. And now, of course, we'll lengthen again on the inhale, and on an exhale, you'll bow forward, fingertips claw, palms cup, or if you happen to have your stack of books or blankets, pillows, what have you nearby, you might start to build yourself a little shelf here. If your forearms are pressing down, let your palms press together. If your forearms are pressing into the floor, let your palms press down. So see what makes sense for you. And of course, we're releasing a bit from the hips, but instead of rounding the back, let's see if we can press down, lift up, and then move forward. Keeping the heart center open, your gaze would be out over your fingertips. Your feet are still active. Fingers interlace, palms press. You lift and lengthen. Bring the hands about a foot behind you. Now let your fingers reach toward you. And as you press into the four corners of your palms, see about reaching through your toes. You're pressing through your heels, through your palms. My shoulders have rolled a bit away from ears. And then on an inhale, you lift the hips. Give the low back a little nudge. Keep breathing. Slow, steady breath. Oh dear, did we lose connection? I think we're back on. I still have my live button. I'll come closer and look. Gently bending your knees and bringing soles of feet together. Take hold of your ankles and your toes for your Baddha Konasana, your cobblers, and I'm going to come take a peek. So it looks like we're back in, yeah, okay. Keep breathing. Now in your cobbler's pose, you may stay just as you are. That might be just what you need. Or you can start to bend at the elbows and press your arms into your legs somewhere. Your inner edges of thighs, just your shins, a bit of both. And then the navel center pulls in and up and we start to move forward. If this is bothersome to your back, please inhale and lengthen and come up again. We'll meet you there eventually. On an inhale, lifting the heart, lengthening the spine, and seeing about your thumbs coming near the balls of the feet, the pinky toes together, the outer edges of your feet together, and opening the feet as if they were a book is one of our older techniques. And I like to add on pressing my thumbs all up and down the feet, maybe even around the outer edges of your heels, finding all of those wonderful points, reflexology, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. I'm sure the list goes on for all the places that are connected from our feet to the rest of our body. And then take a moment and trace the ball of the foot with your thumb. And keep one foot where it is, and let's try to lift the other. So you may need your block to help here. You'll hold it. And then if you can, let all of your fingers move between your toes. Sometimes a couple toes argue, they're so accustomed to being together. And then we'll round the ankle a bit in one direction and then in the other. And release, and we'll do the other side. So if propping helps, do that. And again, all the fingers between the toes may feel funny at first, but oh so good for those toes that balance us. They're very important. And reversing the circles. And then releasing that foot. Let's find our brain button. So find your collarbone or your clavicle and move just underneath, and you'll find the softer spots. So if you find bone, move up a bit. If you find bone, move down a bit and feel that softer space between the bone. These are your brain buttons. They bring us focus and calm. For sure you can take this with you. Meaning you don't have to be on your yoga mat to do this. And then bring your hands to your ears and we'll massage the ears. If you happen to wear earphones a lot, you would fold. You're still there. There you are. Thanks for hanging in there. And then this one looks a little funny, but it's nice for the jaw. And those of us who clench, or we hear that click at night as we're going to sleep, or are grinding our teeth, super nice for this. Or maybe you just have that sensation of something's a little different in here. Your tongue moves across the front teeth and then across the bottom teeth clockwise. So you go clockwise for you. And then we'll release and reverse. You'll go across the bottom teeth first, then across your top teeth, counterclockwise for you. Release, breathe, and before we move, let's find the pressure point in your palm, just where that muscle for the thumb is. In the middle, you can push a bit, or if you want to trace a little there and then push. Breathe. And we'll do the other side. So again, just like the extension of your thumb and next to it. If you want to rub and push a bit, and then push. Breathe. And finally, we'll move to table pose. So if you like to have props, set them up now so they're there for you. You could have blocks near the top of your mat. You could have a blanket under your knees. You don't have to, it's just some of us feel more comfortable that way. And then your fingers spread wide. So often our fingers reach toward the thumb. We want all fingers to reach a little bit away from the thumb. And they can be spread as wide as if they were holding on to the block. You could hold on to the block. You could even bring your forearms down to the block if you're healing your wrists. Or if not, you're pressing into mat. Let's tuck the toes under for now and keep the legs more active. Inhale to your cow and exhale to your cat. Gaze between the knees. If you see the feet and toes, move them so you don't see them. Keep moving. Keep breathing. Navel center pulling in and up, keeping front body active, please. And next time you move through to your cat, stay. Release the head and neck. Bring the wrist directly under the shoulders. Pull the navel in and up a bit more. Feel the back of your heart move up to the ceiling. Empty out the S's. Empty out the nose. Empty out the answers. Any need to have answers. And on an inhale, lengthen the spine as you gaze forward. Bring the hands in front of the shoulders now. Maybe let the tops of feet release and bring your hips back near one heel. Over to the other, shoulders up near one wrist. Over to the other. Keep moving, keep breathing. Keep breathing, keep moving, keep breathing. Reversing the circles if you haven't done so already. And next time you inhale, come forward, almost plank, back, almost child's pose. One arm begins moving with you back to the side and forward, or back to the sky and forward. Moving into thread the needle, the arm moves underneath you. Now if you have a blanket and you would like a little cushion under the shoulder and the ear, you would set that up so both the ear and the shoulder are supported. The other hand is active, or you can rest that arm. And you want to be able to feel comfortable releasing neck, shoulder, upper back even. And check in with those hips and the feet and the knees and invite them back to table pose. They like to twist with us. Inhale, forward to table, and we'll take it through those modified plank, child's pose motions once again, and then your other arm begins moving with you. Next time you move halfway forward, pause. There you are again. There we go. Threading the needle other side, using the blanket if that works for you. The ear, the shoulder resting comfortably, releasing well. Either an active hand toward the top of your mat or a resting arm. Top hand moves near your nose to press you down. We'll remember modified dog. Hands in front of you. They could be up on your blocks. Elbows up, ears near the upper arms, knees down, toes tucked. Slow, steady breathing. Inhale to your table, and let's push the right heel back. If you find a wall, you can press into it. I'm going to take a moment and remember that the blocks can help with the transition forward. So right heel pressing back and seeing about keeping that foot in line, heel in line with your hip. And then the knee moves underneath and we'll step forward. Hand can help the foot, toes can help the foot. Remember, blocks have different levels. And you push off those back toes to step all the way forward to your half forward fold with blocks or shins. Your spine is nice and long. And the exhale takes you to the full forward fold with blocks next to your feet or hands pressing into backs of legs. Breathing into back of heart. And we'll move up in steps the first time around, hands to shins, followed by hands to hips, and all the way up to stand. For your Hasta Vinyasas, the toes pick up and spread wide. The four corners of your feet truly rooting and grounding, two in the top, two in the heel. Feel the difference when you press down. And then pulling it up through those good knees, pulling it up through the navel a bit. You might even feel the front of your hips push forward and those good shoulders roll. Inhale, arms out and up, fingers interlace, palms to sky. Exhale, bend at the elbows, tilt your chin. Let the inhale be your focus, breathe. On an inhale, lengthen the arms. On an exhale, release out and up as you're ready. Fingers interlace, palms to sky. Exhale, hands move behind you now. Hold on to your elbows or or almost your elbows. See what you come up with. You have wrists, forearms, elbows, and of course some of us practice Prasthanguli, the palm to palm together at the back of the heart. Inhale, opening up a bit. Exhale, turning to your first side. Inhale, opening up a bit. Exhale, turning a bit more. Press through those feet, especially the one that wants to turn with you. Inhale, come center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, opening a bit. Exhale, releasing. Inhale brings you center. Exhale, release. Out and up as you're ready. Palms to the sky. Exhale, halfway forward fold now. So you're taking on the shape of numeral 7. Knees might bend a tiny bit, or you can keep those legs long. On an inhale, arms to the side in line with shoulders. On an exhale, arms forward. Fingers interlace, palms press, lift, lengthen, exhale, release. Surya Namaskar, sun salutation from the top of mat, so you can use the whole mat for your plank pose. Inhale, lengthening. Palms to sky. Exhale, heels lift. Slow, steady breathing. Exhale, half squat, Ardha Utkatasana. Check in, invite second, third toe in line with heel. Invite knees just a teeny bit behind the toes, maybe lift your arms, see what your shoulders are up for. Slow, steady breath. Inhale, fingertips to toe tips, or find your blocks to assist the transition. Your right foot steps back to lunge if possible. Keep the back knee up. If not, lower it down. Pulling it up through inner edges of thighs and push back through your heel. As you gaze forward, gently bring that back knee down. Front foot to meet back foot will take the modified plank. Hands down, hips forward, slow, steady breathing, elbows bend a bit, tops of feet down, and then as you bend the elbows near the rib cage, your whole body moves to the earth and your forearms press down. So I have elbows under shoulders and wrists in front of elbows. Fingers spread wide, and the front of my hips are pressing down to keep my low back happy. Tops of feet down, toenails down. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Twice more, imagining beautiful space for that spine each time you move. Slow, steady breathing. Releasing head and heart, hands near the chest, and as you press down, lifting up and take it back to child's pose. Let's go wide at first, that way we'll release the quadriceps and the low back a bit more. You might like a pillow under your forehead so that good neck can release a bit. Rain and breath, best friends for sure. On an inhale, moving forward to table, modified dog or full, or maybe you'll take a bit of both postures. If you're moving to the full dog, give yourself some time to lift one heel and then the other, to bend one knee and then the other. Take a moment now to press both heels toward the floor underneath you, no matter if they touch or not. That's where the energy's going. Push both hips to the wall behind you. Press into the four corners of your palms. Open up space all through that underarm area and gently bring the knees down to your table pose. Find your blocks if you like. This time we'll press the left heel back, and notice if your toes are reaching to the side, invite them to reach down. A little different for the hips there. Pull the knee underneath, step forward, hand helps the foot, toes help the foot, and we'll make our way forward to the half forward fold, followed by the full. Coming up in steps, or maybe you'll find reverse swan dive, either way, with a long, quiet spine. Hands down the midline. You know, if you feel a bit lightheaded when you move from your forward fold to your mountain, you can engage the root lock and breathe, and that should help the dizziness or the lightheadedness subside. So the muscles at your seat pulling it up while you're breathing, right? The Mula Bandha, as we might refer to it in yoga, or somewhat similar if you need the restroom, no restroom to be found. These are the muscles you use, and you breathe. And then we'll take it through Surya Namaskar once again. Inhale, lengthening, finding your mountain, Tadasana. Each of us on that same mountain, perhaps finding our way the best we're able in this moment. Maybe we're crossing paths. Maybe we don't even know we're on the same mountain. Arms lift if you wish. Half squat, chair pose, Ardha Utkatasana. Inhale, fingertips to the toe tips. You can use those blocks again, and this time the left foot steps back. To lunge, we're pulling it up through inner edges of thighs, push back through the heel, back knee settles if you like to take it to the knees down plank, or once you find the knees down plank, you can push through the toes, pick the knees up and push back through your heel. Slow, steady breathing. Exhale to a medium plank and take it all the way down. Stay close to the floor for this first cobra. Press through the fronts of your hips, please. And on an inhale, lift your hands, keep breathing. Exhale, releases hands, press down, lift up, take it back to child's pose. Perhaps this time you'll bring the knees together and rest arms alongside you. Forehead resting, please. Slide a pillow underneath if it's not. That way your neck rests. Inhale to your table, modified dog, full dog as you wish. From your table pose or from your full dog, please lift your right heel. Once again, press it into the wall if you find the wall, and see if your toes are reaching down rather than to the side. Pull that knee underneath, push through your back foot. Remember, your blocks are there for help. And we'll set up for warrior two once we find the runner's lunge. So pulling in and up through inner edges of thighs, pushing back through your heel, and then releasing the back heel. The front heel makes a line to the middle of your back foot, and we'll bring one hand up at a time and then 2 long arms. You may find it helpful to check in on the back hand and keep it in line with your shoulder. Let your upper body face the side and bring your gaze over your front fingers, and then check. Sometimes we lean, invite shoulders above the hips, and maybe you find a little more space between the feet. Good strong legs in your Virabhadrasana too. Transitioning to Warrior One, you could hold your hips, bring the back heel forward, back toes forward, back hip forward. Sometimes I adjust my front foot a little wider, and then back arm forward. Arms in front of you may help you find balance. Arms above you as you wish. Sometimes we do better to lift that back heel and find a high lunge. Sometimes we do better to keep the back heel down. Maybe you'd like a bit of both. Warrior One. Hands come down the midline. Now, you could reach for your blocks for Warrior Three, or you could keep your hands at your heart center. So you'll see what works for you. Back heel lifts as you're ready, and then you're pushing off that back foot. The hands need to come under your shoulders, so they may have to walk forward a bit. And again, instead of out to the side, your back toes are reaching down and your heel is pushing back. You could practice one hand to your heart, or two, lifting your head and heart in line with your hips and your heel. Eventually, keep breathing. Bring your hands down, settle your back foot down, bring your back knee down, and take a child's pose. Maybe this time you'll switch it up and let your palms face open as you rest. Inhaling to your table. You're welcome to stay in table and push your left heel back, or maybe you'll take it up to your Adho Mukha Svanasana, full downward facing dog, and lift your left heel up. Again, toes reaching down rather than to the side. Pull those elbows in a bit, and then the top knee underneath. Pushing forward, settling your back heel down. Maybe you'll windmill your arms up and around. Warrior Two. Front knee may bend a teeny bit more towards your pinky toe, the smallest toe. So if you were to look down, you'd see big toe, maybe even parts of second and third toe. Warrior One, transition with the back foot, back hip, back arm, find balance. Keep breathing. A while back there was an article in the Star Ledger stating if there was one pose you did every day, this should be the one. I think they were trying to impress upon us how important it is to stretch the psoas, P-S-O-A-S muscle, that maybe when we're seated a lot becomes very tight. So you may feel it releasing now. And you might like to play again with lifting the back heel so you're in a high lunge and releasing the back heel. Sometimes our ankles let us know they haven't been here in a while too. Hands may come to the heart center, or you can reach for your blocks. As your back heel lifts, you step off for your Warrior Three. Again, feeling a nice long line through your head, to your shoulders, to your hip, to your heel. Maybe you'll find your wings this time. And then your hands can release down. We'll bring the back foot down and let's do a hop or step and switch. And then we'll step all the way forward, half forward fold upon arrival, hands to your hips, come all the way up, and we'll find Vrikshasana. So you'll ground through your first foot, choose wisely with your second, toes down, heel on shin, full foot, under knee, full foot, above knee, inner edge of the bent knee may do well to move to the side a bit, but then notice if your hips move with you. Upper body forward. Some of us find balance in our center space. Some of us find balance taking up more space. Slow, steady breathing. Gazing to a point that does not move. You can step it out and take it for a walk, or you might move directly into your dancing Shiva. So you'll eventually hold onto some part of your foot. I like the inner edge of foot. You might hold your other hip, and as you move forward, you eventually lengthen and find balance. Oh, that's tricky to look at you. And then find balance. Keep breathing. Nataraj Asana. And then come center, take it for a walk, and we'll move to the other side. Such good postures to help us work through and with opposites, right? Rooting down and connecting, lifting up, and radiating, perhaps transmitting even, sharing our good energy with the world around us. Remembering, well, maybe many of us were taught to smile even when we did not want to, so we don't want to ignore when we really don't feel like smiling, but remembering if we can take a moment to let the outer edges of our mouth turn up. Typically that sends a message to the brain that somehow all is well in the middle of all of this. Dancing Shiva, other side. Find a pant leg. If you have a belt or even a towel, you can wrap a bit of towel around your ankle and hold on. And then gaze to something that doesn't move is best for balance. And then come center and take it for a walk. And let's give those good hips a little more attention. So the first foot grounds and the other foot comes just near your knee. So you're not in half lotus. Maybe you look like numeral 4. And we bend at the hips. You may hold the hips, you may hold the ankle and the knee. Keep this foot flexed, it tends to sickle. And maybe hands to your heart center, keep breathing. Press down, lift up, take it for a walk. Other side. Slow, steady breathing with you always. Pressing down, lifting up, take it for a walk. Let's come down to our goddess squat. So you have a couple of options. If you have your props, you can make a seat. Just be sure your seat is not wobbly. Or if you have your blanket, you can set your heels up on top of the blanket. So either way, your feet are a little bit wider than your hips. Heels up, goddess squat, or sitting on your blocks, goddess squat. And with the blocks, then you want your feet in front of you and the elbows inside the knees, palms together. Slow, steady breathing. Some of us know this as Malasana or garland pose. I believe I first learned it as goddess squat. Good to honor all the energies, right? Masculine, feminine, and everything in between, and however else we may be, knowing it's all of us. It takes a village. And as you release your fingers, one hand outside the foot, arm inside the knee, reaching the other hand to the side, your gaze goes over your fingertips, or you can reach up to the sky and see about your gaze going over fingertips. And then releasing and switching sides. And we'll make our way down to the mat to begin to release your good back. So come down however you can arrive, and we'll bring one leg long and the other knee bends. You might keep the foot inside your leg, or you might step over. And your other option would be to do all of that with the blanket under your hips, and that way maybe your seat stays a little more even. Sometimes one side lifts, right? And then inhale, lengthen, and exhale, give your knee a little hug. A little hug if there's food in your stomach. A little hug if your low back is a bit bothered. A bigger hug if not. And your other hand settles down behind you to help you lengthen the spine. Inhale, come center, and exhale, counter twist. And then we'll move back to center and switch sides. So again, the foot inside your leg or stepping over. Slow and steady inhale to lengthen, and exhale, turning toward that knee again. And the other hand moves behind you, pressing down. Sometimes I press into my fingertips, sometimes I press into my palm. Inhale, come center, and exhale, counter twist. Inhale, come center, and we'll move on down to the mat. I'm near the wall, so I'm going to go ahead and place my legs up the wall and bring my one block with me, and a blanket or a shawl. And then if you need to take a moment and find a chair, you can always put your legs up the chair. If you want to move to the wall, go right ahead, and you'll get there when you get there. No hurries, no worries, except we are in Instagram time land, so we'll try our best to get you through the end of the class, and if not, you know to do some breath work on your own. So pushing into the wall, then those legs go up the wall. And let's, if you don't mind, give ourselves a modified shoulder stand. So your feet push into the wall, your hips lift, and your hands hold the hips, the back of head to the floor. And notice my hips are moving toward the wall, so they're not directly above my shoulders. And this is how we begin, by releasing the hips. And the idea of our inversions is that they do release the hips. You want your breath to be there for you. So if it's not, you come down and rest and find it. You're welcome to go back up again. Or this time I'm going to push my feet into the wall and slide a block under, I call it my low back, really the sacrum, right? And if it's uncomfortable, you just have to take a moment and switch things around a bit. If you have a layer or two, feel free to cover yourself. And now my feet are a little more than hips width and relaxed, and my arms are by my side and relaxed. And your shoulders will tell you if the palms need to face down or face open. Slow, steady breathing. Releasing anything between you and earth. Giving your body permission to receive all of the good vibes from Earth. She's constantly giving, no matter what we humans are up to, being open to that. Steady breathing. Releasing the focus of the breath and simply letting it happen. If it helps, you might focus on sounds, Om, So, Hum, or simply So, Hum, S-O-H-U-M. So, hum. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. If you'd like to continue resting, please do. I'm going to start to bring us back and attempts to do a bit of breath work. Waking fingers, toes, waking ankles, wrists. Giving yourself a good old stretch and pulling those knees down. If the block is still under you, you can press the feet into the wall to lift the hips, move the block, and then bring your body to rest on one side. Bottom arm could be a pillow for your head. And then your top hand presses down to guide you to your seat, where you might like to wrap your spine and keep it warm while you do your breath work. I'm going to use the wall to support me, so tail toward the molding, back of head to the wall. For a moment, even the backs of upper arms to the wall. And then hands release, resting open. Kapalabhati, short, sharp breath. Navel center pulling in and back toward the spine. And the exhale moving through the nostrils. So the inhale is automatically happening. Of course, if there is pregnancy or high blood pressure, you stay with a slow, steady breath. Please inhale fully and begin. releasing breath, resting hands in Zen Mudra if you like. Hand you use the most rests inside hand you use the least. Thumbs touch, slow, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale. Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breath to balance the brain. The right hand prepares, index, middle finger bow in, ring, pinky stay out. Right thumb closes, right nostril you exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. You exhale right. Inhale. Close. Pause. You exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. You exhale right. Inhale. Close. Pause. You exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. You exhale right. Releasing hands to Zen Mudra again. Sitali is the breath recommended for anger. Your tongue curls or rolls. You inhale through the tongue. Close mouth, exhale through the nostrils. If your tongue is not rolling or curling, simply let it hang out a bit and breathe across top of tongue. So there we are again. Maybe we can end with Om Dum Durgaye Namaha as you wish after inhale. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Peaceful Navaratri to all who celebrate, to all who are interested. Celebration of 3 mighty goddesses. May fierce love and protection surround you, just like that of a mama bear. Thanks for joining me here in Instagram land. I'll try my best to save this and put it on YouTube. And next week, I think, will be our last Instagram live for Friday lunch hour. We're going to switch over